All right, guys, I'm going to keep this really brief this week. Um, this is Unit 5 of Mythology. It's Egotism and Godly Wrath. Again, this will be linked up, but this YouTube video that you are hopefully watching right now is what I always want you to check before you start the weekly lesson. Always watch it. This is where the instructions happen. This is just like my teaching in class. Um, Learning targets haven't really changed. We're going to be focusing this week on why erring or making errors is a part of the human condition. Even though we know right from wrong, why do we mess things up? Um, you'll be very excited to hear if you look up here, step 1, the final week of journals. That means that this is the last required week to complete journal entries for your time capsule project. Starting next week, we'll have due dates for the remaining portions of the project, the interviews, things like that. Most of you are doing great getting those done. But yeah, this is your last week for journal entries. Again, you need 2 of them. You need at least 2 entries for this week of 150 words or more. And if you want to keep going, if you don't want to stop, if you want to keep going through the end of this semester, fine. Some people are really enjoying it. But if you are not, or if you just want to be done, and who can blame you, this is the last week. So in total, this is the 5th week of instruction. You had 3 entries the first 3 weeks. That's 9 plus 2 plus 2. So we're looking at 13 total entries that you would need to have for journals. Do not forget that number, 13 total. Okay. You can have more, but you cannot have less. I'm going to be looking for 13. This week you have, since we're cutting journals, there are 4 stories you have to read through and take quizzes for this week. You have the story of Daedalus, Icarus and Daedalus. You have the story of Narcissus and Echo. You have the story of Orpheus. And you have the story of King Midas. After you have completed those 4 stories and taken the quizzes, there is a Padlet journal, and I'll show you this one. This is probably one of the easier ones. It doesn't really require any text evidence. It says, quick write number 4. Sometimes we are our own worst enemies. Recall a time when you could not resist temptation and later regretted your actions. I know we've all been there. Maybe it's going to your refrigerator way too many times because you're stuck at home, or on a more serious note, um, you could think of a time where you maybe ruined a relationship with a friend, or possibly regretted a decision you made regarding a sport or a class, like some of you not completing your work for language arts. But, anyways, why are we our own worst enemies? We know right from wrong. We've been taught what to do, but I just kind of want to see personally what you have to say about a time where you made a bad choice because you were tempted to, and then you regretted it down the line. Um, Next, Quizlet. Please, please, please. It was brought to my attention that I used too many Arthur memes. But, anyways, feed your brains, study the list. You have 11 vocab terms on this week's quiz. It's terms 25 through 35 in the Quizlet list. Since you do have 4 stories, that means you only have about 2.5-ish per story. That's not a lot of terms. Study up. It's an easy 11 points in the grade book, and so many of you are wasting your time and taking the quiz before you even know the answers. Don't do that. Last but not least, again, there's the quiz and this week's metaphorical representation of your grades. If you don't study ahead of time, is a train wreck. Okay, can't help but watch. It's a train wreck. And this is the code up here, 640931 if you go to joinmyquiz.com. Again, this will be shared with you in classroom effectively tomorrow morning, but don't take it until you're ready. And last but not least, I have to update the exit slip. I forgot to do that, but I'm going to go do that right now. But again, if you have nothing else that you need to do for the week, if you know you've accomplished all of the assignments, then you complete the exit slip. These are worth 5 points apiece. They're one of the most commonly missed things, so don't skip this step. And last but not least, I am available every single day of every single work week between 1:30 and 2:30, every single weekday. This link doesn't change. This purple link will be valid every single day. I will be on from 1:30 till 2:30. Sometimes I'll go later if I need to, but that's the plan. Okay, guys, I really don't have a whole lot to say. Can't believe it's already going to be May by the end of the week. Still missing you guys. I hope you're all doing well. Stay safe. Thanks.